Okay, so here's a thought that might just melt your brain a little bit. What if every single possible version of reality you could ever imagine already exists right now?
Yeah, it's definitely one of those concepts that twists things around, and that's exactly what we're diving into today. Welcome back. We're digging into this really specific framework. The sources call it the Bashar model of parallel realities and, what that implies about navigating the multiverse.
Right, and we should be clear, this isn't quite like theoretical physics in the academic sense. It's more a model of consciousness, really, about choice. The basic idea from these sources is you're not moving along one single timeline from past to future.
Exactly. Instead, picture all possible realities, past versions, future possibilities, tiny variations, all stacked up, like
Yeah.
individual frames of a movie reel. They all just are.
Which is, yeah, completely counterintuitive. It turns everything upside down. So our mission today is to unpack that idea. What does it actually mean for daily life, for making decisions? Especially how our feelings, our internal state, supposedly steers us through it all.
That's the core of it. The big takeaway for you listening is you're not dragging the past along with you. You're constantly like flickering, jumping between infinite versions of now. It's not forward through time, it's sideways, vibrationally, to a reality that already exists.
Okay, let's break that down, the movement part. Because
Yeah.
if we don't get that, nothing else really clicks, does
The
it?
sources are very insistent on this.
Yeah.
You don't move through time. Time as we experience it, it's just the feeling of shifting through these slightly different, already existing present moments. Every possibility happened all at once.
So if there's already a version of me who, I don't know, took that job offer or didn't spill coffee this morning, then changing my mind now isn't about creating something new from scratch.
Precisely. It's not about becoming someone different within your current reality stream. When you make a real shift, change your perspective, your dominant emotion, your intention, you just instantly tune in. You align with the reality version that already matches that new internal frequency, that vibration.
Wow. Okay, so decisions become incredibly immediate, like flipping a switch. The sources call it a frequency jump, right? Not slow change, but a sudden hop to a different, adjacent reality frame.
Yes. And let's make that practical. Think about being stuck in traffic, feeling that intense frustration. That feeling is a frequency. The jump happens the second you genuinely think, you know what? This doesn't matter. I'm choosing to feel okay right now. You haven't changed the cars.
Uh-huh.
You've instantly shifted to the reality version where your experience of the traffic is peaceful. And supposedly, the external world starts to subtly reflect that back.
That's wild because it connects inner feelings directly to, well, maybe not changing the world, but changing your experienced world instantly,
Yeah.
which kind of leads into those weird moments we all have sometimes where reality feels glitchy.
Exactly. And the sources use this framework to explain things we usually just brush off as bad memory or,
Yeah.
weird coincidences, like waking up and just feeling different
Yeah.
fundamentally, or noticing some tiny detail is off.
Yeah. Like you swear that book cover was blue, not green, or you remember a conversation slightly differently than someone else. This model says those feelings are real because you did shift. You jumped a frame.
And that brings us right to the Mandela Effect, where lots of people clearly remember something one way, but history or facts say another, like the Berenstain Bears spelling, E-I-N versus A-I-N.
Right, everyone argues about false memory or alternate timelines, but this model has a specific take. Those are just brief overlaps between timelines.
Yeah, like a momentary bleed through. You jumped, and for a split second, the signal from the reality you just left interferes with the new one, a glimpse of the history you abandoned.
So reality isn't breaking, it just sort of blinks when
Yeah.
you shift.
The analogy they use, which I think is quite helpful, is the radio. Think of parallel realities like thousands of radio stations, all broadcasting at the same time on their own frequencies. They're right next to each other.
But you don't hear them all at once. They don't interfere unless...
Unless you turn the dial, you have to consciously or unconsciously tune to that specific frequency to pick up that station, that reality.
Okay, so if that's the case, how do we control the dial? How do we steer? What's the mechanism?
That's the key part, the emotional compass. This is where it gets really actionable. But first, there's a tricky question this whole idea raises: regret.
Ah, yeah. If all versions exist, that means the version of me who made that terrible decision, the one I really regret.
Yeah.
That version is still out there, right? Suffering the consequences. Doesn't jumping to a better reality feel like abandoning that self? Is that ethical?
It's a tough one emotionally. The model handles it mechanically, though, not ethically. It says you can't just pop over and visit or fix that other version by thinking about it or worrying about it. You have to match its frequency.
So if I'm worrying about that suffering version, I'm actually tuning into that suffering frequency myself.
Basically, yes. Your worry kind of locks you onto or closer to that vibration. It makes it harder to fully establish yourself in the new preferred reality. This leads to a core rule. Your internal state dictates the timeline you perceive right now. The sources are really clear. Guilt locks you in the timeline where guilt exists. It acts like an anchor.
And it has to be genuine guilt, right? You can't just fake feeling better to jump.
Exactly. It has to be authentic. If you try to fake a frequency of peace while still feeling guilty underneath, the universe in this model just reflects the frequency of faking it. It reads the underlying truth.
So the only way out, the way to actually jump, is a genuine internal shift, like forgiveness.
That's the mechanism proposed. Forgiveness moves you to the one where peace already happened. You're not erasing the past in your current frame. You're switching channels to a reality frame that already vibrates with peace and acceptance regarding that issue.
Okay, connecting this back. The multiverse isn't out there somewhere.
No, not in some distant galaxy. It's right here, layered. Like transparencies stacked on top of each other, all occupying the same space. You just can't perceive the others because you're not tuned to their specific vibration, their frequency.
Which means the tool for navigating, for switching between these layers, it's internal, always available, and the sources pinpoint it as excitement.
Excitement, yeah, but maybe not like bouncing off the walls energy. More like your highest state of authentic alignment, effortless flow, passion. That state is supposedly the vibrational key. It naturally matches you to realities reflecting that same quality. It's the highest coherence.
So, practically speaking, does that mean I just sit and try to feel excited? How does action sit in?
No, action is crucial. That's the proof, in a way. You have to act on that excitement, that alignment. The advice is essentially, the more you act in alignment, the faster you shift to worlds that reflect that alignment. The action confirms you're truly tuned in. If your highest excitement involves painting, you paint. That action is the frequency made manifest.
Got it. So it's not about pushing the current world to bend to my will. It's about making my next choice based on that inner excitement, which then shifts me to a reality where the world already matches it, more or less.
Exactly. Which brings us to this really elegant paradox at the heart of it all. The true art of navigation, they call it. If you fully accept that all possibilities exist, you realize you can't change the world.
Yeah.
You can't force this specific frame to be different.
But through choosing your frequency, through alignment and action, you can change worlds. You can shift to a different frame that suits you better. That's the real navigation, steering through this infinite stack of present moments.
Really flips the script. Instead of seeing reality as this fixed path we're forced down, every single moment, even the tiny ones, becomes a choice point, a choice of frequency. Which now are you tuning into?
It definitely makes you pay more attention to your internal state, doesn't it? Constantly checking what channel am I on right now.
It really does. So if every choice, every thought, every feeling is essentially an instantaneous jump, maybe the only real question left for you to consider today is, what specific frequency, what authentic alignment or excitement are you choosing to amplify right now?
That's a powerful place to leave it. Thanks again for digging into these sources with us. This was,
Yeah.
a genuinely deep dive.